Hello all and welcome to All Red. I think I know the reasons why Liverpool still have 0 signings. This is the channel that is all Liverpool all the time. It's All Red. Please hit that like button and consider subscribing as we continue to build an amazing Liverpool community online all the time. I think I know why. There's a couple reasons why Liverpool have not signed anyone this summer. And whether you're FSG in or FSG out, I think these are some valid reasons as to why Liverpool have quote-unquote failed to sign anyone this summer. And let's dive in because I think you're going to find that some of these make sense. Some of you will hate them. Some of you will hate these reasons and you will slate me in the comments. That's okay. I love it. But the one at the end really gets me excited. My final point here. So let's jump in. Let's dive in. First and foremost, Edwards and Hughes are highly analytical, and they will not sign anyone who isn't a guaranteed success. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, that's ridiculous. Like there's no such thing. Well, that is part of the reason why Liverpool have been so successful in the last 10 years with transfers. You know, we don't have the Andy Carrolls anymore. We don't have the I don't know. I mean, of course we've had failures. It's hard to remember. It's hard to remember the failures. I mean, Naby Keita was a failure for sure, but they're few and far between. They really are. And so you have a leadership team who is very picky, very picky with who they want to sign, and very picky with who they want to spend on. Now, part of that is, of course, they have limited funds. We are not Manchester City. We are not Chelsea. We do not just throw money to the wind and hope for the best. And I am, for one, am glad that we don't do that because look at how that has worked out for teams like Chelsea. Never mind City and the potential alleged issues that they have on the horizon. But we have a leadership team that is very analytical, very picky, and that is one reason why we haven't signed anyone this summer. In particular with Zubimendi, I just did a video on why the Gravenberch number 6 role might be the most important position in Slot's system because of how often that type of a player is called into action to be the conduit from the defense to the attack, but also breaking up the opposition and then springing another attack. So that's reason number 1. Reason number 2, Liverpool have decent squad depth right now. It's not amazing, it's not perfect, but it's also not terrible. And so I'm actually going to show you, what this squad depth looks like. And I've put together an A team and a B team, so 2 starting 11s from Liverpool's current active players, official active players. So let's jump in here. We've got Alisson Becker, Kwanzaa Van Dijk, Trent, and Robertson. This is really just the starting 11 we saw against Ipswich, McAllister and Gravenberch in the middle, and then it's Diaz, Salah on the wings with Szoboszlai and Jota. Obviously, we know this is probably a preferred starting 11 for Slot. It's probably not going to be the same every week. I expect him to rotate players pretty frequently. But that is, I think, a good, solid starting 11 that we can say, yep, that's probably going to be the lineup or something close for most games moving forward. Now, the big question mark is, well, who fits into the B team? Well, it's obviously Caoimhin Kelleher, who, by the way, I think is probably the best backup goalkeeper in the world. And then we've got, I got Seb Vandenberg in there, bro. He is on the active roster. He is still with Liverpool. I kind of expect him to stay at this point with 10 days to go in the transfer window. And honestly, not a terrible, 4th option. I would have put Gomez there, but I do think he is moving on. And then our wings, Tsimikas and Bradley, this is probably the first world-class player on the B team. I really do think that Bradley is world-class at this point. You could say, well, he hasn't proven himself. A world-class right back is someone who should be starting. Well, he's got another world-class right back in front of him, so it's going to be hard for Connor Bradley to justify a starting spot with Trent Alexander-Arnold. Say what you will about Trent. He was fantastic against Ipswich. He was tracking back. He was making forward runs. He split up 2 Ipswich fast breaks, and then he, of course, had the amazing pass to Salah that set up that second goal. In the middle, it's Curtis Jones and it's Stefan Bajcetic. Yes, you can also put Endo here for Bajcetic, but I actually would prefer Bajcetic. If there's a question of who should start or who should get the nod, I would rather see Bajcetic. I know he's probably a little rusty. He's far younger than Endo, but just for future, I would want Bajcetic to get playing time because I think he offers a lot more, especially in the slot system where this player is, making these sideways runs, trying to give the back 5 options to get the ball out and then turning. He's similar to Gravenberch in that he has the ability to kind of have a sixth sense about him to where the defenders are on his back and then to make that turn and really be unpredictable with the ball. In front of our double pivot, it's going to be Cody Gakpo on the left and it's Ben Doak on the right. I think Gakpo is another world-class left winger. We saw that at the Euros. I think he was the best player at his position in the Euros. And that's saying something, I don't know if he gets in ahead of Diaz. I don't know if he's proved himself to slot yet. It's Harvey Elliott and then it's Darwin Núñez. This attack is really interesting to me. I'd kind of like to see that 4 go at it. Maybe we'll see that in some cup games this year. But that 4 is really intriguing to me because we all know Darwin. We all know his capabilities. We all know his shortcomings. But we're also, I think all of us are kind of interested to see, can Arne Slot kind of take this guy to the next level? Harvey Elliott, I think, is one who it's just hard because he's so young and he's so good at his age that it's just hard to justify putting him in over Szoboszlai. At the same time, I think we're going to see him starting. I think we will. I think Slot will be rotating Elliott and Szoboszlai in and out because I do think this role right here, this number 10 role, is perfect for Elliott to kind of be the supplier to Gakpo, Doak, Darwin, or whoever's up on the top 3 there, the front 3. So there is our A team and our B team. Again, not amazing, not perfect depth by any means, but honestly, how many, what place in the Premier League table would this team get to? I'm going to say, realistically, maybe 12th, maybe 12 to 10, 10th place, which of course for Liverpool is no bueno. But how many other top teams could field a second 11? Maybe City. I don't know about Arsenal. So anyways, encouraging stuff here from the A team to the B team. Now, what are the biggest question marks here? Probably Doak, and then probably Sepp Vandenberg. If those guys are having to come in, if we're without Salah and it's Ben Doak, if we're without, Van Dijk, Kwanzaa, or Konate, if 2 of these guys go down, Konate and Van Dijk, or Konate and Kwanzaa, and we have to rely on Sepp Vandenberg, that's probably a big problem. That's probably an issue. So we're 2 injuries away from that. We're 1 Salah injury away from most likely Doak. Elliott could shift over. But honestly, how many other players could we field? How many other players could be active in our first team? Not many. A lot of you don't like Jones. I understand that. I think he's a good squad player. I do. I think Curtis Jones would do well in the slot system. All right, let's move on. I have a theory that this is my favorite part of this video. I have a theory that Liverpool are they are on the verge of a brilliant transfer strategy. Now, you're probably sitting there laughing your head off because you probably think I'm crazy. But hear me out here. So we just looked at Liverpool's depth. Now, hear me out. What if the strategy was to potentially get Zubimendi, but now that they can't get Zubimendi, the strategy is, hey, we're going to make it to January, and we are going to save up our cash that we have, our transfer funds, whatever that number is, I don't know. Some of you will say, well, it's nothing, but I do think they have funds reserved for transfers. What if we get to January and we are able to pounce on one or two players that at that point we know much more about this team under Slot. Slot understands his team more, and we can say, we can pinpoint exactly what we need at that point. Now, we could also address a major injury crisis. So, hey, maybe, like we just saw, maybe Van Dijk goes down. Maybe Kwanzaa or Konate goes down. Now we're relying on Sepp Vandenberg and maybe Reece Williams. I mean, I think they're still on the roster. Then at that point, it's like, okay, we need to go out and get a center back, especially if we're still in contention for Champions League, if we're in contention, maybe we're in a title race. I mean, maybe. I'm saying that's guaranteed by any means, but maybe the focus shifts then to, hey, we got to go get a center back. We already knew we needed one, but now we really need one. Now, some of you might say, well, we already need a center back. Why don't we just go get one now? But what if it's the other way around? What if it's like, hey, Salah goes down and Ben Doak goes down, and we are hurting on that right wing. Hey, let's go get Bakayoko. Okay. Oh, wouldn't that be sweet? Ooh, that'd be fun. So they can address different things. They've had more time with their team. They've been able to see them in the Premier League. They've been able to see them in the Champions League. Slot will have had around 5 months at that point with this first team, this squad, and they can make perhaps some more informed decisions on what they need. Now, I want to just point out, I know a lot of you already know this, but Liverpool have had remarkable success in the January transfer window. And a lot of you have said in the comments in previous videos, well, you're going to pay a premium, you're going to pay more. Well, what do you care? You're already calling for FSG to spend tons and tons of money. Not tons and tons, but money. It's not your money. Like, if they're willing to spend it in January, why not? Like, what do you care? But listen to this. 2018, a beautiful Christmas present named Virgil van Dijk. Okay? At the time, we didn't know it, but another amazing January transfer, Daniel Sturridge, in 2012-2013. And then also at the time, Philippe Coutinho. We didn't know what that would turn out to be. And then, of course, perhaps the greatest. This would rival maybe Virgil van Dijk. But 2010, 2011, Luis Suarez, one of the greatest players to ever play for Liverpool Football Club. So, that list of four, there's probably four others in that same time period that didn't work out. So, hey, I get it. It's not like it's a guaranteed thing if you sign a player in January. But we have had some fantastic successes in January. And so I'll leave it at that. I know this video is probably going to split a lot of opinions, but at this point, we know rush purchases are not good. And yes, I think that Richard Hughes has probably in some form failed in this transfer window, even though we don't know what the plan was. Like, we were told that there would be signings, and there still could be with 10 days to go. But what has Hughes been doing with the time that he has had? I don't know. So I think there's a plan. I think there's a strategy. I think it's a deep strategy. And I just kind of wish we could hear that from Hughes or from Edwards. And maybe we'll get to hear that after the transfer window, but we know how close they keep things to the vest. Let me know what you think in the comments, and we will have a civil discussion in there. All the best, and of course, up the Reds.
Yeah, of course.